In this episode 95 of the Daily Hustle, we talk about Mark Cuban's 12 mantras of success, the rules of success that he lives by. Also, we finally give Devin Woolery a shout out from the attic.
Broadcasting from the box that rocks and Thrive15.com world headquarters, it's the Daily Hustle with Daniel McKenna.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into episode 95 of the Daily Hustle show. Over there, to my left, the Funk Soul Brother, Marshall F. Morris. Over here, Daniel McKenna. This is episode 95. This has been Mark Cuban Week. This is the final episode of Mark Cuban Week here at the Daily Hustle. Marshall, how are you doing, and what do you think about Mark Cuban Week so far?
Newsflash, Dan, I am still tall and a Funk Soul Brother and love Mark Cuban. He wants to win, and he's going to win.
That is a newsflash. You're still a Funk Soul Brother.
Still.
Not a Funk Show Brother.
Not a Funk Show Brother, but a Funk Soul.
A Funk Soul Brother.
If you were looking for a Funk Soul Brother business coach, I'm your guy.
If you're on Google right now typing business coach, Funk Soul Brother, enter. It could be Marshall F. Morris that comes up.
Marshall F. Morris, the business coach / Funk Show Brother.
Wait.
Just kidding.
Okay. Well, this is episode 95, Marshall. So as always, what's important about this is not the business knowledge that not the business coaching we're gonna talk about. It's about the fact of this number, about 95.
I am ready for 95, Cotton.
Did you know the racing number for Lightning McQueen, the main character in Disney Pixar's film Cars, is 95, and that it was used as his racing number because 1995 was the year that Toy Story was released?
I believe it, Dan.
Did you know that, though?
I knew some of that.
Okay. Did you know the NBA record for most assists in a 7-game playoff series is 95 from Magic Johnson in 1984?
Gotta love it.
Did you know the NBA record for most free throw attempts in a 6-game playoff series, 95, is from the Lakers' Jerry West in 1965?
The logo.
And did you know about Richard Dent?
I don't know who Richard Dent is.
It isn't extremely often that an 8th-round draft pick goes on to become one of the best athletes to ever play their position. In Richard Dent's case, it happened. 4-time Pro Bowler, honor of being the MVP of Super Bowl 20 XX, held in 1986. When he retired after the 97 season, his 137.5 sacks was 3rd overall. For 5 consecutive years, he logged double-digit sack totals. He wore number 95. 8th-round draft pick.
That's right.
So there you go. How does that make you feel, those 95 facts?
He actually, his 137.5 sacks is 3rd overall.
I just read that.
Behind Reggie White.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Who was episode 92's.
Callback right there. Callback.
You didn't know where I was going with that.
I realized it after you started. The first time I thought you just weren't paying attention. I thought you weren't listening. And then you're like, did you know? And I was like, yes, I did know. I just read that.
No, I'm bringing it full circle, Dan.
I appreciate that.
So as a shameless teaser.
Sure.
Everybody go watch the Reggie White episode.
Shameless teaser.
Episode 92. If you're just tuning in here for 95, you're tuning in at the end of Mark Cuban Week, you're doing it wrong. You need to go back and go start at the 90. I think 91 was the first one.
91 was the first one, yeah.
And 92 is the second.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good tease. I like that. In today's episode, we are talking about the 12 Cuban mantras for success.
Not Cuban like as in Cuba, but Mark Cuban mantras.
That is one thing that we do need to spend more time clarifying, is we're not talking about necessarily Cuba, like you're from Cuba, Cuban, just Mark Cuban.
I feel like the country of Cuba might need a business coach.
It might be. Maybe they need a Funk Soul Brother that's a business coach.
Probably need a little of both.
I feel like the people that are listening to this are either having a great time like we are, or they hate it. And they just like, please just get to the content. Why are you still talking?
Give me number 1, Dan.
Okay, here we go. The 12 Cuban mantras for success. Number 1, time is more valuable than money. You have to learn how to use time wisely and be productive. How wisely you use your time will have far more impact on your life and success than any amount of money. Marshall, business coach to the stars, give me your hot take on this.
Okay, hot take here is you've got to commit to effective time management. And once you commit to effective time management, then your whole life is going to change. You will have more time to do the things that you want to do. And furthermore, your business will grow faster because the time that you're spending working on your business is going to be more productive overall. And you'll actually find that the hours that you spend working on your business directly exponentially increases. And it's impressive how much you can actually get done when you only focus on one thing in your business to be doing at a time during the day. It's hot.
That was it. Number 1, time is more valuable than money. So you're saying that by focusing on that one thing, by blocking out your time, spending your time where you want to be spending your time specifically, that's more valuable than having more money to throw at the issue? That's more valuable than having more ad dollars to throw at the issue?
That's right.
Okay. No, I mean, that's what Mark Cuban's saying. I didn't know if you were agreeing. Seems like he's agreeing. Okay. Number two, the second Cuban mantra for success. Commit random acts of kindness. Being successful entails being able to not only get along with people, but also to give something back. No one gets to the top on their own, and I believe we all should be able to make those around us smile. Marshall, here's a multi-billionaire, self-described competitor, dude that, told multiple girlfriends that his business was more important to them than they were to him. I'd say he's probably, not in like a mean way, but he's probably like a ruthless competitor. Like he wants to win. And his second mantra for success is committing random acts of kindness. A little bit polarizing thoughts here. What are your thoughts about this? What's your hot take on number two?
You gotta be able to commit random acts of kindness because the unsolicited act of kindness is truly, wanting to do for other people. And people recognize that. That's valuable, okay? The random acts of kindness. People are appreciative of that. So one way to put this into practice is you just ask yourself, who right now is not expecting a gift from me? And you could go to Amazon right now, Amazon Prime, send them something, spend $10 on it, and that gesture will mean the world to them. It's awesome. It's awesome, the feedback that you get from this, and so valuable. It's a good stuff. First step to helping the poor is not to become poor yourself. That's one of the important principles to understand. So you can't send yourself into bankruptcy doing random acts of kindness for people, but set aside how much you are willing to commit for an act of kindness and then spend it on that, and the reward will come back tenfold.
I think there's two sides to this. One, by committing that random act of kindness, you're strategically putting that person on your team, right? Like if you're thinking about, like, if you wanted to think of it in a way of like, how can I win? Well, I want key people to be on my team and possibly do business with them later, or possibly, show favor to me later. So I could commit a random act of kindness to get him on my team. That's one way you could look at it.
That's right.
That is a business strategic move you could do.
Mm-hmm.
But I think also in general, while business, and especially for entrepreneurs, business is a large portion of your life, it's not all of your life, and it's not the only thing that's going to contribute to your happiness. And making other people feel good and making other people feel valuable is going to make you feel good, and it's going to make you feel happy. And it's something that you can easily do, to do a small thing, a small random act of kindness that will mean a lot to them, it'll mean a lot to you, and it'll just make your life better. And he's talking about his 12 mantras of success. He's saying, hey, if you want to be good at life, occasionally be nice to people. Occasionally do something that's going to make other people feel good, and you'll feel good too.
That's right.
There you go. That was number 2. Let's go on to number 3 here. The most offensive of the 12, probably.
Probably.
Number 3. This one's for you, Sam. No balls, no babies. We got Sam to laugh on that one. That was all I was hoping for. No balls, no babies. This is something a blackjack dealer once told me when I asked him if I should hit or stick. It is also my favorite line and probably the thing I tell myself the most. Once you are prepared and you think you have every angle of preparation covered, you have to go for it. No balls, no babies. Marshall, give me your hot take on number 3.
You got to go all in. You just got to do it. If you want to reap the fruit, you got to go all in on the idea. That doesn't mean you got to take an unnecessary amount of risk, but you probably got to burn the bridges behind you in order to get to where you want to go. No balls, no babies. Still don't understand the no babies part of it, but here we go.
He's saying if you don't have the guts, if you don't have the balls.
Break that down for me, Dan.
Well, I'm trying to break it down for you in a way that, we won't get fined by the FCC or the SEC or the ESPN. We don't want to get fined by those guys.
I'm sorry, my third grade mind just can't handle that.
No balls, no babies. Yeah, he's saying that, yes. Are there people that have made a ton of money in the stock market? Yes. Are there people that have made a ton of money? Did Mark Zuckerberg make a ton of money with Facebook?
Yes.
Yes. Did Mark Cuban make a ton of money selling broadcast.net to Yahoo? Yes. These people that are making all this money and having all this success, did they have to put up some of their money or all of their money and some of their time or all of their time as at risk? Was there a risk involved to try to pull this off?
I get it. So it's more of a metaphor than something that actually, would transpire.
Well, I think that I also think that it's probably anatomically correct.
Oh.
I think it's also scientifically correct.
Oh.
But yes, it is a metaphor.
I get it. You're bringing me Dan, thank you for helping myself and all of the viewers get it.
So yeah, there you go. Number 3, no balls, no babies.
I'm glad we got deep on that one.
We got deeper than we meant it to get on that one. Number 4. Here's one you'll like more here, Marshall. Work hard, play hard.
Now, when he means work hard, I'm just messing with you. No, this is it. This is awesome. This is awesome. Work hard, play hard.
His specific quote here is, I went 7 years without a vacation, but I sure managed to have fun. You have to find ways to blow off steam so you don't blow a gasket.
You got to find ways to... Now, this is cool. One of the things that he goes on record to write in one of his interviews is he went out with his 5 roommates, the 6 guys. 6 guys go out, and they had a rule. This is the whole where buying the cheap champagne came from. He goes, we went out, and we would buy the $12 champagne. It was $12, and it was awesome. Okay,
awesome, and it was terrible.
Yeah, okay. But their rule was that nobody was allowed to spend more than $20 when they went out. So they're like, we're gonna have a heck of a time. We're gonna have a blast, and nobody's gonna spend more than $20. And so they went to the dive bars, just super divey bars, but they'd go buy the cheap champagne, and we're like, yes, we're dive bar famous, and pretend like they were there. But he was thrifty. He was thrifty with how he let off his steam. And so just because you're not going on vacation doesn't mean that you're not spending time doing things that you enjoy in order to balance out that work-life balance.
We've talked a lot about in these episodes too about how all in Mark Cuban is in his thinking, about how he spends his time, that sort of stuff. And we've talked about how it takes a lot of work to do anything. It takes a lot of work, many years to get there. Why is work hard / play hard? Why is that second part of that so important here to Mark Cuban? And why do you think that would be important to you or to the business owners that you coach every week? Why does that matter?
You gotta. It comes back to your F6 goals. We talked about the F6 goals: faith, family, finances, friendships, fitness, and fun. Okay, that last one being fun. So whatever it is that you're doing, you got to commit time in order to achieve goals in those areas. If you don't set aside any time for fun, you're going to be miserable. If you don't set aside time for your family's going to get upset. If you don't set aside time to manage your personal finance, then chances are your finances are going to be out of whack. So you got to ask yourself right now, when am I spending the time in these different areas, and how fast do I want to go down that path? Do I want to go down the personal finance path fast at 80 miles an hour or 120 miles an hour? Do I want to go down the fun path at 80 miles an hour or 120 miles an hour? Whatever it is, you got to ask yourself, the time that you have, the 24 hours a day that you have, how are you spending it on all of your different F6 goals?
Number five, don't let fear be a roadblock. You can use fear as a roadblock or as motivation. There's always going to be someone who's competing with you, and sometimes they are going to win. Rather than not doing something for fear of losing, take on the challenge. If you fail, get back up and go for it again. I have been fired from more jobs than most people have had, and in the search for success, you can fail any number of times, but you only have to get it right one time. Marshall, don't let fear be a roadblock. What do you got?
You gotta burn the bridges behind you. Use it as motivation. The whole feeling of going all in and just getting after it, and you're like, oh dear God, I don't want that. The same feeling is going to be there, okay, whether you believe it's for punishment or believe that it's a roadblock. The same feeling motivates other people. So you got to ask yourself, how are you looking at that fear? Does it excite you? Are you going to use it as motivation? Because no amount of time is going to change how you feel about that fear, okay? The fear of that roadblock, okay? So what you have to do is you got to say, okay, I'm going all in. These are the moves that I'm going to make. I'm going to embrace the fear. I'm going to face my fear. I'm going to lock myself in a car with a cougar, with a puma named Fear.
Sure.
And then I'm going to drive that car. I'm going to go fast in that car, and I'm going to do it blindfolded. Because that's kind of what growing a business is like. It's trapping yourself in a car, driving that car, and you don't know what the path is, but you are at least stepping on the gas. Here we go. Don't let fear be a roadblock.
Was that some Talladega Nights, some Ricky Bobby right there? Is that what that was?
What's Talladega Nights?
Oh, okay. Okay, I didn't know if you knew that there was also a movie that used some of the same, like the cougar and the car and stuff like that. I didn't know if you knew about that.
Has it already been made?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
It's a good idea. Yeah. Number 6, expect the unexpected and always be ready. He says you don't wake up in the morning with someone telling you that everyone is going to be selling lemonade, so whoever sells the most wins. It's the exact opposite. Life is unpredictable. You never know when a window of opportunity will open or close. You have to realize this and always know that the game is on. Whatever you are striving to achieve isn't waiting in one static place for you to find it. It's the opposite. Everyone has inside of them what it takes to be successful. You just have to be ready to unleash it when the opportunity presents itself.
That's right. You got to position yourself. The business coach hot take, Dan.
I'm ready for the business coach hot take.
You got to be prepared. Okay? Hard work creates luck. Hard work creates opportunity. And so when that opportunity meets your preparation, that's when you got to seize that. That's when you got to be ready to take control. That's when you got to be able to go all in, and you're not going to have the resources, okay, for that opportunity unless you put in the hard work ahead of the time that you actually need it. So begin now to prepare yourself for the opportunity later. That's a hot take.
I think working on your business lets you realize where those opportunities are, so that has to happen. And I think that being long-term focused, and once you do start making some money, not immediately spending that money, but instead reinvesting that money or having that money ready to go for the next opportunity, so your long-term financial game is more successful and your fortress is built bigger. You know that something unexpected is going to come, whether it be a liability or an opportunity. Having that treasure chest ready to go I think that's going to be huge for you.
Right.
Number 7. It's okay to yell and be yelled at. One of the rules I have is that I don't mind if people raise their voice or even yell a little bit. At Micro Solutions, my partner Martin and I would have some knockdown dragouts. They were always short bursts. They didn't happen a lot, but when they did, I knew and he knew that this was an issue we were both passionate about. As my business grew, it happened less often because people deferred to me more often, and I hated it. If someone believed strongly enough in something and I was being passionate about something, I wanted them to match my level of passion. So I told people that if they thought it was the only way to get through to me, go for it. This might not work for you in corporate America, but anyone in a family business or in a private business of any size with a partner or two knows exactly what I'm talking about. Marshall, in the beginning days of Thrive, on a daily/weekly basis, maybe daily, there were loud arguments, right? Almost every day.
Yeah.
And if not every day, then every week. There was a lot of passion being shown.
Passion.
What is Mark Cuban talking about here? What is your hot take, your business coach hot take for number 7?
You don't have to play within the rules of concern for social graces when you're trying to grow a business. Okay? There's no rules of engagement. I would say the general rule is if you're attacking a problem, anything goes. But if you are going to attack a person, that's where it gets dicey. You don't want to antagonize a person or their character if that's not what the core root of the issue is. But as long as you're driving at the core root of a problem and the disagreement hinges upon the decision of fixing a problem or a strategy of a business decision, those are the types of arguments, those are the type of yelling matches that you want to have, because that means multiple parties are fully engaged and multiple parties are passionate about what their core beliefs are. So make sure that you're attacking a problem, not a person.
I think it's probably important to build some level of trust beforehand through your actions, through your words, through your commitment, to where the other person is also feeling the same thing, right? You're both working towards the same thing. You're both fighting for the team as opposed to just fighting each other. I think that's probably important. But then it's, okay, if you're passionate about this and you've put your time, you put your effort into this, I want you to show me why your passion matches my passion. I want you to show me why I'm wrong.
Right.
And I'm going to fight you because I don't think you're right. I think I'm right and you're wrong.
Right.
And as long as we're working towards the same thing and we both know that, then it's okay. It's not a big deal.
Right.
There you go. Number 7. Number 8. Everyone gets down. The key is how soon you get back up. Again, we're talking about the 12 Mark Cuban success mantras here. This is number 8. I can't count how many times I have gotten up in the morning dreading the day. I wasn't motivated. I was tired. I just wanted to crawl back in bed. Other times I had lost a deal. We had lost a game. Something wasn't working. I just wanted to crawl under a rock and disappear. Which crawling under a rock never seems, that seems like a terrible, I just lay in bed maybe, I don't know. Crawling under a rock, that doesn't seem comfortable. Everyone goes through those moments. The key is how you fight through them. The people who will be truly successful are those that fight through the quickest and come back stronger and smarter. Marshall, what is your hot take on the days you just don't feel it? You don't feel motivated, you're tired, you don't have that edge, you don't wake up ready to take on the day. Talk about number 8 here.
So Mark Cuban saying that there are days that he felt that.
Even Mark Cuban.
Even Mark Cuban, even Mark Zuckerberg, even Steve Jobs, even all of these successful entrepreneurs, they have had days that they have felt like they were not motivated. They're not saying that they are maybe safe from not being inspired on certain days or being discouraged certain days. I would say they're probably more discouraged than a lot of people on a regular basis. The difference is they don't let anybody else know. They do not allow it to show to their employees. They do not allow it to show to their family and friends because they know at the end of the day, any of that sympathy or that empathy or that pity for them being down wasn't going to help them grow their business. They knew that their action in their business and their movement forward was the only thing that mattered. And so that's what they were going to commit to. And so they didn't let discouragement hinder them from ultimately reaching their big goal. And that's what makes them different. Hot sizzle. Business coach.
Hot sizzle business coach right there. Hot sizzle. Number nine here, Marshall, of the 12 rules, the 12 mantras of success. It's not whether the glass is half empty or half full. It's who is pouring the water. I've heard him say this a few times. I like this one. This is one of my favorites. The key in business and success at any endeavor is doing your best to control your destiny. You can't always do it, but you have to take every opportunity you can to be prepared as and ahead of the competition as you possibly can. Take the lead, and you can control your own destiny. So he's talking about it's not whether you're feeling positive, it's not whether you're feeling negative, it's who's in control. Talk about this number nine principle here that Mark Cuban's talking about.
You got to take the reins yourself. You got to be the one that's pouring the water. You have to be the one that's in control of your own life. And if you're letting other people make decisions for you, then that is not then you can't be complaining about that. If you're letting other people make decisions for you, then you must live with the decisions that they're making for you. If you're unhappy with the decisions that they're making for you, then you've got to take the lead and take control back in your life. And ultimately, you'll have to live with the consequences of making the decisions for your life. And so if you're an entrepreneur, you know what I'm talking about here. You know that if making a bad business decision means that you're going to lose a deal, at least it's your decision or deal to have lost, and somebody else hasn't lost it for you. And typically that's a more rewarding experience in the long run for a lot of business owners and a lot of entrepreneurs.
I love it. And even if you get it wrong, at least you were the one that was in control. It wasn't somebody else choosing for you.
That's right.
Number 10, it's not in the dreaming, it's in the doing. It's not in the dreaming, it's in the doing. Everyone has it in them to be successful. Everyone. This is Mark Cuban's take. He says everyone. Most people only dream about what they do if they are successful or how they might get there. Anyone can dream. Anyone and everyone has ideas. It doesn't matter if your definition of success is being a great parent, an athlete, a business person, whatever. When I catch myself daydreaming about how I'm going to do this or that, I always try to wake up and ask myself just how I'm going to get from where I am to where I want to be. What exactly is it going to take to do it, rather than dream about it? Marshall, hot sizzle business coach take on number 10. It's not in the dreaming, it's in the doing.
So with this, it's got to be the implementation and the execution. Ideas are not worth what people make them out to be. You don't see all these big innovators. Oh, he's a great innovator because he can come up with a lot of good ideas. Everybody has the ability to innovate and come up with ideas. Not everybody has the ability to execute and implement. And so one of the things that you have to be willing to do is consistently focus on what do I need to do to take this idea from where it is to fruition, from where it is to execution and implementation. What are the specific things that need to be done? And if you have the ability to break those things down into a linear fashion, then you will be successful. Then you have to go execute those ideas. And if you need help doing that, you hire a business coach.
There you go.
Boom.
That was number 10. Number 10 was it's not in the dreaming, it's in the doing. Here's number 11. And this one sounds familiar. This one sounds like a Dr. Z quote here, Marshall. Number 11, pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. Again, we're talking about the 12 mantras of success from Mark Cuban here. Pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. He said, this one I got from my partner, Todd Wagner. Sometimes you have to go for the jugular, but more often than not, the biggest mistake people make is getting too greedy. Every good deal has a win-win solution. There is nothing I hate more than someone who tries to squeeze every last penny out of the deal, who often raises the aggravation level to the point where it's not worth doing the deal, which also raises the dislike to the point where even if a deal gets done, you look for ways to never do business with that person or company again. Business happens over years and years. Value is measured in the total upside of a business relationship, not by how much you squeeze out of any one deal. Marshall, you've heard this quote before from Dr. Z. What are you talking about here for number 11?
It's right here in the quote. You can't be too greedy. You got to ask yourself, what is it that you can profitably operate at, okay? And rather than gouging somebody just because they have the ability to pay isn't always the best business practice. What you need to do is you need to effectively price your product or service, price your deal, call for a certain amount of money that you need in order to be successful, and leave it at that, because you might get one more big deal, but at the sake of losing future customers, it's not worth it. You got to ask yourself, what is it that I need to continue to be profitable, and only ask for that amount.
Yeah, he talked about the long-term nature of business, right? You either want your customers to keep coming back and paying you, or you want that business relationship that has value, you want that to continue. And if you're taking all of the win, if you're taking all of the value out of that relationship, they're going to find somebody else to have that relationship with. It needs to be a win-win, mutually beneficial. Gary Vaynerchuk talks about being giving 51 and taking 49. He's always concerned about giving a little bit more value than what he takes. Because then you as the customer, or you as the vendor, or you as the business relationship wants to keep doing business with him because they get more value out of it.
That's right.
And here we are. We're on to number 12 here, Marshall. On to number 12. You only have to be right once. He said, as I have said, I have been fired from more jobs than most people have had. Some jobs I've had were so bad, the only way I could justify them to myself was that I was getting paid to learn. I have started a stupid business that was doomed to fail, like selling powdered milk. I have dated more girls than I wanted to. The beauty of success, whether it's finding the girl of your dreams, the right job, or financial success, is that it doesn't matter how many times you have failed, you only have to be right once. No one keeps score. There are so many ways that each of us can find happiness and success in our endeavors that it never really matters how many times you fail. You only have to be right once. These are some of the things I use to guide myself in different situations. Maybe they apply to your situation, maybe they don't. That's up to you to decide. So Marshall, to close us out here on the Mark Cuban mantras of success, number 12 here, you only have to be right once. What is he talking about?
You only have to be right once because when you are working and you're continuously hitting these different roadblocks along the way, experiencing these adversities, you never know when that will be the last hurdle that you have to overcome. Nobody says, oh, this is the last roadblock until your success. Nobody tells you that. So you have to blindly and diligently continue to overcome them. Again, if you are passionate about your vision and your idea, your manifestation of your destiny, and your focus on that success, if that is greater than the adversity that you're experiencing, you will always win. But as soon as that passion dips below the adversity that you're experiencing, you will continue to be satisfied in your current situation. You will never get beyond that, okay? So you have to lead with this passion, and that passion comes from action. You got to create momentum. It's really hard to create momentum standing still, okay? So you have got to continue to pick yourself up. You never know when that last roadblock's going to come. Somebody's watching this right now, and they're going through a really tough time right now. And the cool thing is that once they get past what they're going through right now, that's the last time that they're going to experience that adversity. And that's a really cool thing. Somebody else is watching this right now, and they're getting hit by a freight train, okay? And the unfortunate thing for them is there's another freight train coming. But that's part of growing a business. That's what Mark Cuban's saying is he got knocked down. He went all in. He did the different mantras that he was saying. He went all in on selling powdered milk. That was a dumb idea, and he recognizes that. But it's never too late to pivot and find the right idea. His right idea was Micro Solutions. He got that right, but he wouldn't have ever got into Micro Solutions unless his boss had fired him. And that's encouraging to know that even though that the adversity came and it was not a fun thing to deal with, it wasn't a comfortable thing to deal with, more success grew from that than he could have ever expected or seen in the moment, okay? So it's an exciting thing to learn about these laws of success. Mark Cuban, kind of a business coach from afar for all. It's exciting to learn from a business coach like that.
There you go. Mark Cuban doing some business coaching for us here in the box that rocks. We should just like CG like Mark Cuban here in the middle on this middle mic, and then maybe like dub some stuff he's saying.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Excited to see you do that.
All right, folks, that was it for episode 95, Marshall. 95.
Yep.
9-5.
9-5.
9-5, the Richard Dent episode.
Not to be confused with episode 92, the Reggie White episode.
No, you wouldn't want to confuse those.
Yep.
So if you have not listened to all of the Mark Cuban episodes, go back to episode 91. That's when it starts all the way through episode 95. This is Mark Cuban week here at the Daily Hustle. And I thought we got some really, really good stuff out of it. All right, over there to my left, as always, Marshall F. Morris. Over here, Daniel McKenna. Up there in the attic somewhere, Devin Woolery. He's doing some coding type stuff. I just want to say, hey, Devin, how's it going, man? Hey. He says, hey. That's it for episode 95. We'll see you next time on the Daily Hustle. Boom.